Rock bottom has a specific feeling. It's not dramatic like in movies. It's quiet. It's sitting in your car at 2 a.m., wondering if you should sleep in a Walmart parking lot or risk driving on an empty gas tank. It's choosing between eating and keeping your phone on so potential employers can reach you. It's the shame of avoiding eye contact with cashiers because you know your card will decline. I hit rock bottom 3 years ago. Lost my job, lost my apartment, lost everything I thought defined me as a person. What I didn't lose was my life, and I'm only here because 5 strangers decided I was worth saving. These aren't feel-good stories. These are survival stories, and every single one of these people changed my life forever. Stranger 1. The gas station attendant. It was December 15th, cold, and my car sputtered to a stop 2 blocks from a gas station. I had $3.47 in my bank account. A full tank costs $45. I didn't know what I was going to do. But I pushed that car those 2 blocks because I had nowhere else to go. The attendant was a middle-aged man named Marcus. I'll never forget him, because he's the reason I didn't freeze to death that night. I walked up to him, humiliated, and asked if I could use their bathroom. He said yes. When I came back out, I sat in my car trying to figure out my next move. Marcus knocked on my window. "Your tank's full," he said. I stared at him, confused. I filled it up. "You're good to go." I tried to tell him I had no money, that there must be a mistake. He just smiled and said, "No mistake. Drive safely." I started crying right there. I asked him why he'd do this for a stranger. Marcus leaned against my car and said, 10 years ago, I was sleeping in my car just like you're about to. A stranger filled my tank and told me things would get better. I promised myself if I ever got back on my feet, I'd do the same. Now go find somewhere warm to sleep tonight." That tank of gas lasted me 2 weeks. It gave me mobility to get to job interviews. It literally kept me alive. Marcus didn't just give me gas. He gave me hope. Stranger 2, the grocery store manager. A week later, I did something I'm not proud of. I tried to steal food from a grocery store. Not expensive stuff, just bread, peanut butter, and some bananas. I was shaking as I walked toward the door, the items hidden in my jacket. I'd never stolen anything in my life. A hand grabbed my shoulder. "Come with me," a woman's voice said. My heart dropped. This was it. I was going to get arrested, and any chance of rebuilding my life was over. She led me to the back office. Her name tag read, Jennifer, Store Manager. I prepared for the police, for handcuffs, for my life to get even worse. Instead, Jennifer closed the door and said, "Empty your pockets." I did. Bread, peanut butter, bananas. The total was maybe $8. She looked at the items, then at me, then pulled out her own wallet. "Come with me," she said again. We walked back into the store and she filled a cart. Real food, chicken, rice, vegetables, milk, eggs, $75 worth of groceries. She paid for everything with her own money, loaded it into bags, and handed them to me. "Listen to me carefully," she said. "I was you 5 years ago. Single mom, no job, stealing diapers for my baby. Someone gave me a chance instead of calling the cops. I'm giving you that same chance." Then she did something that changed everything. She handed me a job application. "We're hiring stalkers. Night shift. It's not glamorous, but it's honest work and it pays. Fill this out and bring it back tomorrow." I started that job 3 days later. Jennifer didn't just feed me, she gave me dignity back. Stranger 3, the hotel night clerk. Working night shifts meant sleeping during the day, which is hard when your bedroom is a car in a parking lot. January in the Midwest is brutal. Temperatures dropped below 0. I'd wake up with frost on the inside of my windows, my entire body numb. One night after my shift, I parked behind a budget hotel, hoping the building would block some wind. I must have looked pathetic because around 3 a.m., someone knocked on my window. I thought it was security kicking me out. It was a young guy, maybe 25, wearing a hotel uniform. "Hey man, you're gonna freeze to death out here," he said. "Come inside." He wasn't joking. He handed me a key for room 217. "It's empty tonight. Shower, sleep, and check out by 10 a.m. I couldn't believe it. A warm room, a real bed, a hot shower. I cried in that shower for 20 minutes, feeling human again for the first time in weeks. When I tried to return the key and thank him the next morning, he was finishing his shift. His name was David. I asked him why he'd risk his job for me. He sat down and told me his brother had been homeless for 2 years before dying of hypothermia in his car. "I saw my brother in you last night," he said. "I couldn't save him, but maybe I can help you." David let me use that room 3 more times that winter. Each time he risked his job. Each time he probably saved my life. I think about his brother often. I think about how that tragedy turned David into someone who saves strangers. Stranger 4. The ER nurse. In February, I got sick. Not regular sick, dangerously sick. Pneumonia. I ignored it for days because I had no insurance and no money. By the time I collapsed at work, I was barely conscious. I woke up in the ER. Panic set in immediately. I can't afford this, I thought. This hospital bill will destroy whatever chance I have of recovering. I tried to leave. A nurse named Patricia stopped me. "You have bilateral pneumonia," she said firmly. "You leave now, you'll die. Sit down." I started crying, explaining I had no insurance, no money, nothing. Patricia sat next to me and held my hand. "Let me worry about that," she said. "You worry about breathing." I stayed in the hospital for 3 days. They gave me IV antibiotics, breathing treatments, real medical care. When I was discharged, I braced myself for the bill. Patricia handed me the paperwork. The total was $0. I stared at it, confused. "Hospital has a charity care program," she explained. "I made sure your application was expedited and approved. You don't owe anything." Then she leaned closer. "Between you and me, I've been adding extra documentation to make sure cases like yours get approved. The system is broken, but that doesn't mean people should die because they're poor. Patricia didn't just treat my pneumonia, she fought a system to keep me alive. She's the reason I'm here telling this story." Stranger 5. The job interviewer by March, I'd saved enough from the grocery store to rent a room in a shared apartment. I was rebuilding slowly. I applied for a better job, something in my actual field. The interview went terribly. I was nervous, underprepared, and clearly struggling. The interviewer, a woman named Sandra, looked disappointed. I left knowing I'd blown it. 2 days later, Sandra called me. "I'm not supposed to do this," she said. "You didn't get the position you interviewed for. I checked out your background and saw your achievements. I'd like to offer you an entry-level role. It's a great start." I was speechless. I asked her why she'd give me a chance after such a bad interview. Sandra sighed. 20 years ago, I was homeless. I failed interview after interview. One person gave me a chance I didn't deserve on paper. That chance changed my entire life. I swore if I ever had hiring power, I'd look for people who needed chances, not just perfect resumes. I took that job. Within a year, I was promoted twice. Sandra mentored me, guided me, believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. That entry-level position became my career foundation. I've got an apartment, a career, and a life I love. But I'll always remember those 5 amazing strangers: Marcus, Jennifer, David, Patricia, and Sandra. Each one helped me in ways I'll never forget. They didn't know my struggle, but their kindness made me believe I deserved better. Angels don't have wings. They're everyday heroes: gas station attendants, grocery managers, and nurses. I pay it forward monthly, filling gas tanks and buying groceries for those in need. Feeling down? You matter. One kind act can change everything. Help is coming. If you're stable and safe, why not be someone's Marcus or Jennifer? You never know how one small act of kindness could change a life. 5 strangers saved my life when I had nothing. Now it's my turn to help someone else. How about you? Smash that subscribe button if you believe in the power of strangers becoming angels. Comment, "I'll be that stranger," if you're ready to change someone's life. Your kindness can change lives. Be the reason someone keeps going.